Yes, we are here.
Hi, Joy.
Mhm.
Is it a good time for a conversation? When you and Amy talk about the journey within material, you talk about a stacking toy. We can see visuals of that stacking toy on the website and also on the YouTube channel. Amy took it out today for this recording. Can you give us an explanation, Joy, of that stacking toy?
Oh, well, yes. Well, the journey within, as we've spoken in other recordings, oh, well, is the explanation really of this one's own personal integration of the energy body that she is and her physicality, the embodiment here, this time and space, at this time, meaning her lifetime. Oh, well, the journey within is began with that asking prior to her incarnation, for her to be able to discover who she is. What does it mean to be authentic? And the methodology came forward, every step of her lived experience, meaning it is a record of her own life, her own lived experience. Oh, in a format that was received by her during her middle years as a teacher, elementary school teacher, as a methodology to share the skills that were coming through in her journaling at that time and were revealing themselves to her incrementally through the writing of her material years prior, as is also spoken of in earlier recordings. Oh, the journey within was a set of activities for children. It began there, so she thought, but really, oh, it was a translation by her, and many years into her abilities to translate, not recognizing that this was happening within her. Mm, Lived experience at that time. Well, the stacking toy is a symbol um, of universal law based ideas for children. However, it is universal. It is ageless in its methodology and its structure, but this one received it from the platform as a teacher, specific to her unique soul signature, wanting to teach others through the clarity of her example. Although was not aware of it any step along the way, as we've said before, it is in looking back on her journey that she recognizes the immense wisdom that was sitting always at her back, calling her forward one step at a time in this reception. Um, Amy began teaching in a way that others weren't back in the late 90s. And she began to put these ideas down on paper and then years later received a structure. Um, mm, this is why the stacking toy is a symbol of the journey within, because it's in a nutshell, well, in a stacking toy, it explains you could say the key to teaching children life skills, the skills that are missing, skills that she discovered absent from the curriculum, but were the ones she knew and intuitively needed to come forward at this time, and was able to interpret this idea in her journal. She was told, received by her broader non physical, meaning us, who she calls joy. The structure of a stacking toy. She saw it in her mind's eye. She journaled it in her journal, but had no idea why or what. Why was this picture coming to her? She hadn't quite yet figured out the puzzle pieces that had come before. Her published works were activities, and the core wasn't there yet, the seven skills. And so she needed to realize those a little bit before this structure. And this is the sequence that unfolded. She drew this picture, and then one day was in a bookstore, a Chapters bookstore in Toronto, Ontario, and she walked into the children's section, as she often does, because children's books are a passion of hers, and saw a stacking toy sitting there on the shelf, and she knew right away that this was the one that she had envisioned in her journal. It was this one here, made by a specific manufacturer that had seven discs with a ball on top, colored in such a way that was appealing for children. She recognized at that time that it was a stacking toy, because the stacking toy is, known by many, by most, around the world, really, but particularly in her lived experience, is associated with children, childlike, playful, um, knowledge, in the sense that the child is learning one upon another and how things fit together. And oh, she saw it there, and she oh, well, I'm going to buy this. And she did, and brought it home and stared at it for quite some time. What do I do with this thing? But I recognized, she knew at that time there were seven life skills that had come to her almost around the same time. Oh, well, she then was inspired to find an engraver, and had the stacking toy engraved. She knew that at that time she was able to put the pieces of the past decade together in a way that made sense. She knew that there was a shape to this structure that was specific to the skills that she had interpreted from the work she had written. The work was written, and then it sat for a number of years until she could see the sections or the skill set. And oh, well, she had it engraved, and then went and ordered a bunch more and had those engraved. And it became a symbol in the classroom and the school she was teaching. Oh, but didn't really understand a lot at that time, but just followed her guidance as always. Led her to deeper understanding over time, and even still now, it's showing itself to her in new ways. Oh, well, why is it a symbol? Well, as we said, it is a childlike in nature, meaning the ease and flow and sequence to it. There is a sequence specific to a stacking toy to put it together in a way that fits best. And seven life skills at the base, which is the largest skill ring here, is her first life skill, which is uniqueness. She knew that that would be the base. Uniqueness is at the core of her teachings. The journey within is comprised of seven life skills. The first one being uniqueness. And she knew over time that this represented some key concepts. one of a kind. She would teach the children that they are, well, never before, never again in the whole history of the world would there be one to replace them. And the children would listen with wide eyes because they had not heard things explained in this way, and began to develop a deeper appreciation for what they bring to the classroom and to their circle, to their community, to their friends and family, and so on. And oh, well, this was the core. And without this, she knew that there would be nothing for the rest to sit upon, that there had to be a structure that was taught, this one sequencing first. She knew that the other skills were universally based, meaning law based, life based, of the ages, universal law based knowledge, that she recognized from many great thinkers. But what she was being shown is that it not new, but it was a unique structure that she alone was receiving on offering up, you could say, to children, teachers and parents and so on, of a way of understanding who they were without spending a lifetime of digging it out, like this one has done. Well, Mm, from there, the second one is intuition, hand in glove with uniqueness here. She taught the kids that it was their sixth sense at that time that was allowed to be spoken of in the classroom, because we assure you, dear friend, no one was speaking of these things in the classroom. She was a pioneer for sure in that area, but she recognized that this inner voice was something now that needed to be forefront in the curriculum, and she found a way to squeeze it in there. And that inner voice was, as we say, two sides of the same coin of uniqueness. They went together on the stacking toy, must be taught this way. The third one was reflection. She knew, was taught, was inspired to receive this ideology that was forefront in many teachings. But why? Why quiet the mind? Well, she understood through her lived experience and reception of this that it is only through the quieting of the mind that full reception, authentic reception, can begin. And so she knew that this reflection, in order to hear the inner voice, was again must be next on the stacking toy here. Specific here. The next two, the stacking toy starts big and goes smaller, doesn't it? Again, precisely as it should be, because the journey within teaches inside out. Up until then, in her lived experience, all teaching had been outside in, coming from the outside world and trying to get through here and somehow find its way in. And character education very much was outside in at that time. And she recognized, well, this isn't working, must begin within. And so the first three skills are about inner work. Um, it's about identifying unique soul signature. It's about acquainting yourself with your inner voice, with your true self, with your broader wisdom through the practices of reflective practices. Mm, what happens then? Well, what good it is if you stop there, then how do you live in the world? Really, this is what she was teaching. She wanted others to know that children, that they could take who they are out into the world and live fully. And so the remainder of the skills are about that, visualizing and goal setting and visualizing are the next two life skills on the stacking toy, and she taught the kids, the children, for the first time ever in school system, about thoughts, about energy, about the um, true essence of who they were, that they were powerful, creative beings. It wasn't about learning. Um, one moment, please. Yes, it wasn't about mm, learning from others, although that is part of the journey. It was about recognizing that they are energy first and foremost, and uniquely in that way as well, and that their thoughts are the creative tool. Um, she began to teach thoughts are things. Oh, well, imagine in the school system, this had to be taught in a way that was comfortable, but it was taught. Um, Authentic goal setting was born in the school system to the children who sat with her, because she taught them that goals were inspired, not decided from the head or from others' opinions, but that true, authentic goals come from a passion that wells up from within one. It is not given to you by another. It is not forced upon you. It is not decided by another, although they can encourage and mentor, but it is already within and is waiting to percolate and bubble up to conscious recognition of it. And this is what the bottom layers prepare the child for, so that they can tune in and hone their skill set while still in elementary school, and begin to tap into their unique gifts. Um, we are moving now out into the world, are we not? The child is recognizing, oh, well, this feels good. I like this idea. I like this activity. I like this way of spending my time, and so on. So, visualizing and goal setting were the next two on the stacking toy, and preparing the child, as we said, not out of the blue, but after some very detailed universal law-based teachings at the start of the stacking toy. By the time they come to the pinnacle of the authentic self, the last two are mentorship and community service. Well, all of these terms are well used and well known in time space, but the law based understandings behind them have shown themselves to her incrementally as she herself has embodied them, recognizing that living authentically means being who you are. And although this sounds very kind of trite or blah, 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 that is said by many, it is your only work in the world. It is your power. It is your authenticity. It is your gifts. It is your legacy. It is what you came to do. It is not fluff. It is the essence of all. And so the children at the top of the stacking toy are reminded that they are part of a whole, like a big puzzle, and they are a unique piece that only they can fill. This is taught down here in the beginning. You take out that piece, and well, guess what? The puzzle's never finished. It's not. It's got some holes in it where only you can fill, but they are part of a whole. They are part of one. Oh, well, this builds in appreciation not only of self, but think of it of others as well. I mean, whether you agree with another or not, you know that not one other can take their place, and without them, there's a gap, isn't there? And so, the journey within teaches character from the inside out, authentic character, and true deep resonance with a vibrational stance of unity, of love, which is the vibration that is who you are. It's the true authentic self is not romantic love. It's frequency. It is love. The word love is placed on the feeling that is the essence of all. And so, as they come to the pinnacle of the teachings, they recognize that being themselves is mentorship, teaching through the clarity of their own lived experience, of their own example, and not looking out to others to be a certain way so that they can. It's the opposite. Teaching them that they are creator of their own lived experience, and others can benefit by their demonstration if they choose to. If not, that's all right too. However, um, bringing of service is about living your truth. What is your truth? Well, it's your soul signature. Your truth is the essence of your unique, um, not just abilities, but your unique part of the puzzle. Eternal, God force forever, who you really are. Imagine the child recognizes that, wow, all right, I'm more significant. And you might think, well, does this put some pressure on everyone to be the best they can be? Because, wow, how can this be? Am I really God force? Am I really creator? Am I really eternal? Is it what I do make a difference with? Yes, 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 and yes, and yes, yes. Oh, well, there is a responsibility only in living joyfully, recognizing this teaching um, allows the reception, one of understanding mm, of the full bandwidth of themselves, with the goal of a joyful life, not a hardship, not a struggle, not coming from unworthiness to accomplishing worthiness, but right from the get go, are recognizing that they and they alone contribute by just simply being here. If they did nothing but came here and interacted uniquely them, they are leaving their mark because it must be. They are a piece of the whole. Um, these life skills, we say, this one Amy interpreted this stacking toy, 15 or more years ago, and is learning new things about it all the time here. Is It is fluid, it is ever changing, it is reflection of her journey as she continues to embody her authenticity. However, the structure holds her, meaning it is unwavering because it is universal law, and she can turn to it um, to remind herself of the basics, you could say. It's the basics of life, interpreted by this one as unique perception of it. Um, and her desire in sharing this now is not for everyone to pick this up and embody it themselves, but to recognize that everyone is authentically who they are, that there is um, a guidance system within them that is encouraging them forward to find their unique pathway that they and they alone can not only must determine, not must, but could choose to. This is the passion of life, dear friends. This is what lights you up. And then share it with others. This is what you came for. Um, and they must find their own expression of it. Um, mm, mm, the stacking toy um, is resonant, as we said, with Amy's frequency. Teacher, communicator, methodology. She is a very logical, well, it seems strange, doesn't it, that someone who is has reception of a bandwidth of knowledge that must flow through her in this way. It could be very logical, and we assure you, dear friend, this is how it is because it is part of her soul signature to receive in a way that makes sense to her. And as teacher and very practical, has provided then a way for her to easily share with others here and grounds it and makes it functional integration in the daily life of all's lived experience. And so it is at this time that this one has been inspired, to allow us to speak to it, dear friend. Um, is there any other clarification needed at this time?
The toy for me represent more something like the kids would look at, especially you're talking about Amy came up with it like teaching elementary to children, but what does it speak to adults? What can they take away from that toy, stacking toy?
Yes, so one moment, please. Mm, mm. Yes, what this one has discovered more recently and might have been spoken about in earlier videos is that yes, it was developed through the school system. However, the childlike structure represents to her now the ease of sharing universal law in a way that can be embodied for all. It is not for children only, it is for all. Um, Childlike because at its essence, at your essence, is um, the eternal you. There is no age. It is about embodiment, and this is what this one has to offer through her own lived experience of it. She did not learn this as a child. She learned this through her adult life. Um, but the platform gave her somewhere to explore self, like all are looking to explore that childlike self that resides within them. What it isn't, it is mm, that childlike essence is your eternal, as we said, authentic self. And the stacking toy is a symbol of the methodology or material that this one enjoys sharing for adults of all ages, um, offering up to them a set of tools that will allow them to meet self, to discover through embodiment, meaning through the visceral experiences that it offers, and in that way, hands on, again, childlike. We must learn through embodiment, meaning experience, not up here. As we become adult, we feel like everything needs to be understood through the adult theory, lived um, content of theory. And this is not about theory, it's about practice. It's about discovering, um, feeling your way to self, exploring your way to self. Mm, mm, Activities that bring you to your awakening of who you really are. Um, the teachings of the journey at the bottom of the stacking toy um, mm, introduce the adult, mm, as well as the child, to the emotional guidance system, to their vibrational essence. And this is for all. As we've said prior in other discussions, it is a time of awakening. It is a time of experiential awakening of self, not of listening, not of reading, not of looking to others to solve or fix, but to find the essence of self within. And this is what the journey within has to offer the adult as well here.
Thank you,
Yes.
Joy. This was a wonderful explanation.
Mm.
Thank you.
Yes. Is there anything else, dear friend?
No, I think that's
Mm.
all.
For now, we are complete.